بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
You see, one of the greatest confusions we face today, especially among women who want to be good, sincere, and nurturing, is the inability to distinguish between softness and weakness. And this is where the danger begins. Because when you blur that line, you end up tolerating things that should never be tolerated. You excuse behaviors that should be confronted. You shrink into silence when truth demands a voice. There's a very subtle deception in our culture today. The glorification of the soft woman who is always accommodating, always agreeable, always available. She's praised for her patience, her silence, her willingness to forgive over and over again, even when it's breaking her spirit. But let's be honest, that isn't softness, that's eraser. And you are not created to erase yourself just to keep the peace. Softness in its true form is strength under control. It's gentleness that's rooted in dignity, not desperation. The Prophet Muhammad was described as the gentlest of men. Yet he was firm, clear, and unwavering when it came to principles. He knew when to extend kindness and when to draw the line. He showed us that real strength isn't in loudness or aggression, but it's also not in passive submission. It's in having a spine made of steel and a heart soft enough to carry others without losing yourself in the process. Too many women have been conditioned to believe that being a good woman means always saying yes. Yes to mistreatment, yes to being overlooked, yes to being emotionally drained for the sake of keeping others happy. And often this is celebrated as strength. But that's not what strength looks like. That's what fear looks like. Fear of abandonment, fear of not being loved, fear of rocking the boat. And those fears are not from Allah, they're from the nafs and from the conditioning of a world that benefits. When a woman doesn't know her worth, let's look at this psychologically. When a woman continually overrides her boundaries, when she remains silent in the face of emotional abuse, when she avoids conflict to keep the image of a soft, quiet, agreeable woman, she trains her nervous system to tolerate dysfunction. Over time, she loses her inner compass. Her body starts to believe that safety lies in self-sacrifice, that survival means silence. And eventually she forgets who she really is because she's been performing a role that society gave her. This is not what Islam teaches. Allah didn't create you so you could please everyone else while displeasing yourself and worse, displeasing Him. He created you to be whole, not half. He created you to walk the earth with purpose, not apology. He gave you the examples of Kija era of Asia, of AA, women who were compassionate, yes, but never afraid to speak truth, to stand firm, and to walk away from what dishonored them. Softness is not about losing your voice. It's about knowing how to use it with wisdom. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing your battles. It's not about saying yes to everything. It's about learning when a sacred no is an act of worship. And this is where many women go wrong. They think being loving means being a doormat. They think being peaceful means avoiding every disagreement. But in doing so, they betray themselves. They betray the very soul Allah gave them to God. One of the most dangerous outcomes of this mindset is spiritual burnout. When you're constantly giving, absorbing pain, carrying the weight of others, irresponsibility, all in the name of being soft, you will eventually collapse. Your heart, no matter how big, was not made to be a dumping ground for the world's dysfunction. Allah never asked you to destroy yourself to prove your worth. He asked you to submit to Him, not to people. So ask yourself, is your softness a form of compassion or a form of fear? Are you saying yes because you genuinely want to do that? Or because you're afraid of what will happen if you say no? Are you patient in the face of injustice because of strength or because of self-doubt? These are questions every woman must wrestle with, because at some point silence stops being noble and starts being self-abandonment. And understand this, boundaries are not the opposite of softness. They are the protection of it. When you set a boundary, you're saying, I value myself enough to protect my peace, my purpose, and my proximity to Allah. That's not arrogance, that's clarity. And in a world that constantly tries to confuse, shrink, and reshape women, clarity is revolutionary. So if you're a woman who's been taught to stay quiet, to always smile, to say it's okay, when it's not, it's time to wake up. Your softness should be your strength, not your sentence. Be the woman who can be gentle with others without being harsh with herself. Be the woman who can forgive, but also walk away when dignity demands it. Be the woman who is soft in heart but solid in faith. Because softness without strength will break you, but strength wrapped in softness, that is what will build you. And maybe, just maybe, the first step to reclaiming your power is to stop being the kind of soft that hurts you. Let's talk about emotional strength, real lasting inner resilience. Because a lot of women today have been taught that breaking down, falling apart, and constantly depending on others for emotional survival is somehow normal. That crying every night and calling it sensitivity is a virtue. That overthinking, overanalyzing, and overgiving are signs of being deeply compassionate. But we need to start being honest. Much of what is praised as emotional softness is actually emotional fragility. And fragility is not from strength, it's from imbalance. A woman who cannot regulate her emotions, who collapses under pressure, who lets every criticism shake her identity, is not soft. She is unanchored. And when a soul is unanchored, it gets tossed by every wave. One moment you're confident, the next you're doubting yourself.